though through the idea what Mako really is, and probably have a hard time understanding what Mako energy, which essentially is like the equivalent of, say, crude oil in this case. Of course, using things like fire magic, healing magic, and stuff. Later on, you can actually use it for summoning monsters like Shiva, some of the more famous ones that you'll see around some of the characters. Hopefully, if we got time though. I know, like for example, though, during this gameplay, we're going to go through Barrett's backstory. And I realize, like, some people probably have no idea what the deal is with the gun on his arm. When I first played the game, I actually thought of Mega Man and his Buster arm when I saw him. And he has the gun on his arm. And there actually, though, from a shooting accident, ironically shot him in the right hand. And the friend he was saving actually got shot also and went through a similar surgery to have a gun grafted on his left arm. And as you can see here, that Barrett has a gun grafted on his right arm, though. Now, it's never really explained exactly why it is. It seems that Barrett has, like, infinite ammo. This is not through, like, a Game Shark or anything like that. That's just how he has it. Nobody ever seemed to question it, though. When the game originally came out. And I always wondered that myself. But I had to wonder, was there like a piece of Maternia that got put in there? And Barrett, though, actually wants to discontinue like all use of Maternia because the Mako energy is like the spirit. And of course I realized though that after my last gameplay, it never was explained why Cloud left Shinra, the soldier class and whatnot. And we saw a little bit though that he idolized somebody named Sephiroth before he joined. And we're gonna hopefully get into an explanation of why he left and why Sephiroth is hardly mentioned at this point in the game. Anyway, we're gonna go into a little bit of the background of that, how Tifa and Cloud actually knew each other from their childhood. But the one thing though that some people probably don't realize is that they left a little girl, Marlene, Barrett's adopted daughter, whose background we'll get into later also. Like it seems strange that you would leave a little girl in charge of a bar. Alright, the drunk people though probably would take her home somewhere. Nah, apparently the people in the slums are very trusting of stuff. Like they know who the owners are, they know who Barrett is. So when we saw him shooting the place up earlier to clear it out for one of their avalanche meetings, and you can kind of assume that he's gonna know where these people are. And if they do anything to mess with Marlene, they're gonna get shot. So that might be what was okay though. And they actually, Barrett does get ripped on later in the game for leaving her alone at the bar. Though, like not long after we meet up again with the flower girl though, and I'll give a brief detail of her later too though. Yeah, right now we're just kind of on the train. And if you remember from my last video, the model that we saw with Jesse, Tifa already recognized that we've seen this already. I'm getting a closer look though. And it happens something. Any checkpoint's supposed to be down further. Barrett thinks that somebody screwed up on the ID tab. Undesignated passengers though, that's what. Okay, now this is all leading up though, as you guys may remember from the last episode, we're going after another Mako reactor. Because that's why what's going on is so important. Kissy comes in and says we're in trouble. Alright, so we gotta actually run off the of each section of the train and jump off the train. Hey now, so we're gonna do that though. I honestly don't know how it is we have to stop every time we enter a new scene though. Or a new train section, I mean. Because if this was actually going on in real life, I'm sure we would all been fucked already. Maybe, but I suppose that's just one of the lapses in judgment we get to miss in a video game. And of course we see Jesse and Wedge are already in the disguises here trying to why they're not jumping off, I don't know. Jump off here. Well, she didn't want to just stay behind because she wanted to come along and prove she's not like a defenseless girl. No, and I'll explain why I say that later. I have to disagree with Barrett on this one, and I don't think jumping off the train was quite according to plan though, but it's gonna have to do that. That's not true, Cloud. There's actually a way in right there. Yeah, we're gonna go down into it. Yeah, they may give you the chills, but it's the only option we got, though. Alright, so we jump in, we found an item, found an ether. Now, one of the cool things though I felt nice about like the PS4 version of this game though, was like the opening starts of the fight though was a little faster than what it was in the original game. Cool though, and anybody listening to this though is excited about like the Final Fantasy VII remake for the PS4, but the actual remake though, not just the digital copy, the original. So go buy it. I mean, seriously, I have seen the trailer for it. No, I am gonna love it. I know it does. How he managed to get ahead of us, no, never understood that. Man, like how these guys just happen to get ahead of us when we never see them jump off the train, you know? A little save point here. Gonna save though. Just gotta have it though. Really like the number of save spots. Too bad they couldn't do that when the game first came out. Like have that many. Only have like 15 save games though. Which I don't know how many people would actually do that with like one memory card and stuff. Oh, but hey. What? So far, this looks like it's gonna be just like the last one we went to, but there is gonna be a surprise here that comes up, and I will gladly show that up. Another little fight though, not a big deal. We got our lemon break slots, so I'll show that off in a second. Barrett leveled up. We've got another save point here now. That was like the last reactor we were in. Coming now because this is a reactor. Run from this guy because we want to continue on with the game. Cloud starts getting another headache. So, we get a little flashback into Tifa and Cloud's past. So, and this is where Tifa actually watched her father die when they were 9 years younger. So then you kind of can see that she's holding onto a really long sword over the body. That will be explained later. And it's kind of implied that Sephiroth was his murderer. Although again, this will be explained later though when Cloud tries to explain to everybody what this backstory was and why he left Shinra. It's kind of weird to see that Tifa would run off with a sword like that. Though, but of course she just lost her dad, and it's not real. I think why the Sephiroth may have killed anyone though, with him being a war hero at the time. I mean, nobody else knows what Cloud is seeing, so Barrett's just like, get your shit together, Cloud. And Tifa seems the only one that's actually concerned about it. He's not even sure what he's seeing, so he doesn't want to worry Tifa anymore than she already is. Gonna run from another fight here though, don't need to fight them right now. Elevator, nothing special going on just yet. Here's where it gets a little annoying though. Like you gotta press all three lights there simultaneously. It's just a little annoying to do. You can see why, like I failed. Failed again. Failed again. It's gonna take a few minutes. There we go, I got... Alright, we come up with two balls, and guess what happens? Shinra attack! Here's some flapping, and who shows up? President of Shinra. Must be a pretty big deal though if he's here, right? And I figure the first few times I played the game that Cloud was actually being sarcastic when he called him sir. You know, it almost kind of enticed him you know, like not even out of some misguided loyalty or anything. Yeah, now the looking is up. As he's talking about, gives people who've been exposed to Mako like a really strange glow and stuff. And if anybody who's ever played like Final Fantasy games, like I'm sorry, not Final Fantasy, I mean Kingdom Hearts and all, which actually features Cloud, Tifa, Yuffie, and a few other Final Fantasy characters. Because there actually was a funny looking Cloud's eyes that didn't get explained in those games, but it's fully explained in this game. Thank you. Now, of course, the way that the Shinra company would manufacture Maternia, they would like condense it into stuff that in some ways actually were radioactive. though, and would use them to experiment on soldiers, giving them like an extra boost, kind of like steroids almost. It's only a much stronger level, and it didn't affect like your reproductive health, but it screwed you over in some ways too, which I'll explain later during Cloud's backstory, though, and I'll explain that to you. Now, what I thought was weird, though, was that President knew this guy was a trick hater, but couldn't remember his name. He was probably only a few of the soldiers we know of that's affected. Another Sephiroth, off again, one of the greatest soldiers ever. And of course, when he says that Sephiroth was too brilliant, though, Sephiroth actually caught on to something that the Shinra was doing immorally and illegally, with some of their experiments. And so during a tour, though, after the war that happened, like prior to the start of the game, though, which actually happened in Yuffie's hometown, during an uprising against the Shinra, which actually caused Wood-Eye to lose the war, though. Now that'll be good. He talked about in greater detail as the game goes on, though, but Ares, his adopted father, actually died during the war. Ares is actually the flower girl that you see in the opening scene of the game, and is the flower girl that you buy the flower from in the game. And has a bit of trivia information, Ares' name actually was changed to Arius from Final Fantasy game, and out of fear that none of the age group that they were targeting wouldn't be able to pronounce his name, so they changed it to Arius. Now, when I meet up with her and have her as a playable character, I'm actually going to change it to that name in homage to the Kingdom Hearts games, because I love that game series too. President comes all the way out here, though, just to confront everybody and can't stay. And he did that just to piss him off, though. More play music, huh? What are we gonna get? A robot. Oh, come on, why would he wait for you? He did what he wanted to do right now. Oh, nice! I beat him already. Usually that boss fight goes so much longer. I think it's because I had those limit breaks so quickly though. Now, some people are probably wondering why I didn't give Tifa or Barret any Maternia though, and that will be coming up like right here Here's the why I hadn't bothered giving it to him, because I knew I would need him for something else here. And it blows up the... Got you. I wouldn't want to say I'm gonna go with Be Strong. And you can see that somebody is clearly talking to somebody. You find out that it's the flower girl actually talking to Cloud. And here we have the flower girl, only in what appears to be a church. No one here. And lucky hell, most normal people would have died just hitting the roof. Alright, hang tight for us. I will be right back. And now I am back. We're going to continue our conversation. Yeah, like you can pretend you never met her at this point, or you can just be like, yeah, I remember you. I'm going to go like, yeah, I remember. Or still, as far as you're something true. Like, she'll just think you're kind of an asshole for choosing that option. I'm gonna choose this one though, because I don't feel like being an asshole to her. Now, this mention here of her mother is actually part of her backstory, though, she actually lost, like, not only her adopted father, but she actually lost both of her biological parents, too. Who's, her mother actually was an ancient, or etc. Like, they were able to commune with, like, the spirits of those who passed away and commune with the earth. So, of course, with her being half ancient, and she can do it too. Who though, and ironically enough, like her father actually worked for Shinra, was actually studying her to see how the ancients were able to commune with the earth when they fell in love and had area. Yeah, no, and it wasn't long afterwards though that Shinra figured out who she was. Honestly, for the longest time, tried to lie her way out of it, because she didn't want to be as ancient, knowing what they were going to do to her though. So they actually turned out a faction called the Turks after her, to try and capture her though, which they actually deal with like espionage, murder, and the like. So it's not surprised that they would be into like kidnapping too. Here, and the reason they want to kidnap Arieth is because she's got his ability to commune with the earth, though. And they believe that the ancients will bring him into a time of prosperity, but they only wanted to do it for themselves. And this will be explained later on, too. Kind of weird, this unknown guy shows up and she just happens to ask him about being a bodyguard. This will be explained too. And he's not too sure about dating her enough, because he never gets emotionally attached to anybody. And I'm not entirely sure what she's asking about today, but I'm sure that'll be explained later too. This part's funny. Alrighty, we are trying to escape from this shit. Anyway, normally Cloud would have been gladly wanting to fuck them up though, but since he's trying to protect the area, if he didn't wanna, now there was like some sound effects although with the limit breaks, and I'm not sure why they're not playing. And yeah, configuration. Huh, that's weird. Of course they're not just gonna let you guys go. And what happens? I think we all know. Damn it, monsters! I'm trying to save areas! Well, she says it's nothing, but what she doesn't tell you is that her boyfriend, Zach, actually was in Soldier First Class. That's just like Cloud, and that gets explained later, too. No item shop in the area. And also, I know there's a weapon in a shop nearby. I forget which one it was. There you go. Here we have Aria's house. Turning over here and an item. Different color materials will do different things. We got the cover Maternia. I'm gonna show you the difference here. Green ones are like meh, magic, and the ones are like, and will do like and percentage towards like your vitality and stuff. Now having the cover one will be very helpful, because you'll be able to block attacks from other people, especially like weaker players, you know. And if you happen to have like a counter attack one, though, we will be able to then counter attack anyone who attacks you, though. Be effective later on. It's coming the home of various adopted Yo, this actually is pretty fun. And of course she wants him to leave though out of fear that the Shinra are going to come back for her because of him. Which is understandable though. And he's feeling kind of guilty, but isn't sure what kind of choice he has in the matter. And we get another glimpse of Cloud's childhood. And the woman in this picture is actually his mother. Although we fairly rarely get to see much of their parents. This will be explained later, though. And unfortunately, this is all we're going to have time for at the moment for Jimbo is my teacher's long play of Final Fantasy VII. And I hope you all had a good time, and we will be continuing on. And I hope that the